Hello everyone, this is kind of hopefully a brief tutorial on the Clock Tower S rank speedrun. I'm mostly doing this just to test out the recording software I have, but also just for fun. I started running this game, and I figured it'd be helpful for me and maybe anybody else to kind of see the current route for S rank and some of the glitches involved. It's not super technical, but it is very RNG heavy. So we're going to hopefully try to mitigate that as much as possible, and I will explain where the RNG should be. But mostly we're just going to go for completion. So first off, we're going to go 2 rooms to the left and go into this first room here. Generally what you do is, because when you select a door, Jennifer will start walking to the door from wherever she's at, unless she's running from Bobby. So the best thing to do is to run and then open the door. That way you've wasted a little bit less time. It's a bit faster. So we go in this first room here and check for the key to the west wing. This is in one of 2 places. It's either here on top of this dresser, or it's on the 2nd floor in the crow's nest. If it is not here in a speedrun, generally you just reset, because it's a complete waste of time to go all the way up to the 2nd floor in this part of the mansion. So we're going to check for it right now, and it's empty. So at this point we'd normally reset, because for the sake of the recording I'm just going to go for it. So actually, no, never mind, you can't do that because of the glitch we're going to do. Well, not a glitch, but because of what we're going to do later. So we're just going to reset until it happens. So we're going to soft reset, and we'll try it again. Even with not trying to be as fast as possible, it's still kind of difficult. Or I should say, it's fairly difficult, because there are 2 definite things I have to have happen in the run, or else I have to reset, because it's just not practical to do that right now. And it also takes away, I feel like it'll take away from the explanation. So we're going to keep doing this until we actually get it. But as you can see, we've already had some issues with that. Oh, finally. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. It was only 2 tries. So we get the west wing key, and then we go find Bobby for this first part, and we're going to see a glitch very briefly. So what we're going to do is it's what's called the action glitch, and this glitch is pretty simple. If Bobby's chasing you, or if you're getting chased, you can actually walk past him if you try to enter a doorway or a stairway. So we're going to do that by skipping the bathroom cutscene where Laura dies, and we're going to go to the what would it be called? This other room where Anne dies through the ceiling. We're going to select the stairs. As Bobby comes towards us, stop, and then just run to the west wing. So as you can see, I can select this from here. Bobby's going to take a step towards us. Then we're going to run for it. Just run right past him, stop, and keep going. Super, super easy. Obviously, in a speedrun, you do that a bit faster, but luckily I don't have to worry about that luxury right now, so we're gonna get this completed. So pretty simply now, we just try to run away and hide from him. The next place we want to hide from him is in the library, which we hope is in this first room to the right after getting to the west wing. If it's not, then you would normally reset, but we're going to keep going until we find it for the sake of the run. And the only other part of RNG that I have to worry about in this explanation is the fact that I may not get the idol. Oh, of course we got it. Of course, we got this in, not a run. Alright, but so what we're going to do is check this bookcase, because we can push this over top of Bobby. We're going to check the bookcase, and we hope it will tell us about the idol instead of just giving us technical books. If it's the idol, then we're in business. So we hope Jennifer looks over here and says, oh, thank goodness. Alright, we are in business now. So the slip of paper talks about the idol, the demon idol, which is great. If it didn't, we'd have to get the staff, which we can't do without going through a few more parts of the game. So luckily, we are good to go. So we're going to go straight over here and get the idol and see her dad, Walter Simpson, who is dead. So go all the way to the right part of the mansion, we go up the stairs, and then we're going to do the next glitch, which is the hole skip, which is actually fairly simple to do. So as you may know, up here, what we need to do is read the text that says, oh, there's a hole in the ground, grab the board right here, and then put it on top. But because that takes too long, we're going to do a bit of a skip. So what you do is you have to start running and then interrupt the run by reading the text. Yeah, just called the whole clip. I guess there's not really another. Well, anyway, we're going to interrupt her animation. See, as you can see, she'll hit the wall and stop. If you do it at the right time, she'll slide past the stop trigger, which is actually pretty easy, just like that. You hit R to run, and then square, and then you'll see she'll slide over, and then we just keep walking. Super, super easy. Now, in order to get back, we actually can't read it, so we're going to do another glitch, same glitch, but a different technique for it, and it's utilizing the items. Now, as you may know, we actually don't have an item right now since we didn't pick anything up, and the key doesn't show up in the item list. So the item we're going to use is actually the demon idol, which is perfect. Again, makes this much easier. So now we have the demon idol, and as you can see, we can actually select it, and we're going to be using that just a bit later. So for now, we're going to run over here to the room Walter's in. Now, some of you may know this is a notorious room for finding Bobby. He actually appears, I would say, every time if you give him enough time. But it's actually pretty easy to bypass him. All you have to do is just know what you're doing. If you move quick enough, then you'll never see him for the rest of the run. Well, if you did see him at any point when you were running this, you would reset. But luckily, this is the only other room where it's going to be a problem. And I say problem, but it's really not that much of an issue. So you check the wall. Well, she checks the wall automatically. You move the crates, and then you grab the steel pipe, which will cause her to open the door, open the sealed door. And we're going to go through it. So this is all pretty much casual strats from here on. Well, not from here on, but in this room. So she sees there's a room over there, and then we select it, and now we're out of this room. So Bobby won't appear in the next room, and then we'll do the same thing, just running out the other way. So in order to do this room, you only have to do two things. You have to read the medical bag embroidered name, which she finds out is her dad. So we can easily assume then that this skeleton must be her dad's, and it's confirmed when she reads this with the paper in his hand. So the glitch we're going to do coming up, after this we're going to run out of the room, skip the hole, and then go get the doll. Now what I'm going to try to do is to do the fast doll triggering, which in order to do that you run past the doll and then run past the doll away from the door and then run towards the door. If you did it right, the doll will miss you and hit the wall, and you can run straight out of the room, which is a bit faster than having to stop it, but I'm not going to reset if I don't stop it, because it's, at least for me right now, it's a pretty difficult trick to do. So we're going to try that when that time comes. The rooms that are always the same are this room, obviously, the doll room, and the room, the room that leads to the basement of the mansion. Those rooms are always the same, plus the few entry rooms. At least on this side of the mansion, those rooms are always the same. The other ones fluctuate. So we may have trouble finding the crow room. We need to get to the crow room in order to release the crow, so we can get the best ending. And we're going to hope that the crow room is directly to the left of the doll room. If it's not, we'd normally reset, but I'll just keep searching for it in this demonstration. So we've seen that, we run out of the room, and we're just going to keep pushing L so we can run out of here before Bobby comes out and talks to us, because we don't want to see Bobby. But again, like I said, it's really not that difficult to do. Now, in order to do the whole skip from this side with the items, it's really not that hard. The explanation is to push L to run, and then interrupt that with the item button, and then push L to run again. That explanation works, but I found it kind of harder, so what I do is just pretty much hit them in tandem twice, and I don't have any trouble. And so pretty much hit L and item button at the same time twice, and that's pretty much it. It's actually a pretty easy glitch to do. As you saw, I got it in one try without much trouble. So running past here, we're going to run to the doll room. In order to skip the doll, what I'm going to do is, well, I'll explain it when I get there. It's this middle room here, and this is always the same. So what you'd normally do is you would get the key from this box, the doll would appear, and then you just block it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be about right here. Jennifer's going to position herself automatically. The doll's going to stop. I'm going to keep pressing X. I'm going to mash X, run to the left, and then run to the right. And if I did it right, the doll should hit the wall to the left, and I go straight out. So we'll see what happens. But if I miss it, like I said, no big deal. It's not a huge bunch of wasted time, but it's enough wasted time. I don't remember if the world record run has that properly, but it's not a huge time loss. Also, when the doll attacks is actually, as you can see, the doll's moving around. See, I missed it that time. So what normally happened is she'd run and hit the wall. Now, the doll doesn't always attack right away. Sometimes the doll will just float around and waste your time, which is pretty unpleasant, but it does happen. If you do that again, that would again be more wasted time, and you hope... Oh my goodness, this is actually a perfect RNG run, in case you were curious. I got the library room in the exact right spot, and I have the crow in the exact right spot. This is actually what you would want in a complete run. That's actually pretty lucky. Okay. So we're going to get the cage key, or we have the cage key. Now we're going to open the cage. You don't have to free the rats, just the crow. And that's what we're going to do. So we free the crow. He runs around. Or flies around, rather. And then flies away. And he'll be useful to us later. He's going to thank us for helping him out. Alright, so that's about the only requirements we have. The next thing we do is go finish the game. So we're going to go into the basement to the idol room, I suppose is what it's called. I don't remember what the name is, but we're going to go to the room, the ceremony room, I guess would be more appropriate. We're going to the ceremony room, and we're going to go to the basement. Now, you may have noticed we don't have the perfume or the black robe, because we're going to actually skip the dog. And it's actually a pretty simple skip. Now that I've said that, of course, watch me fail it. But it isn't too difficult of a skip, and I'll explain what happens. For now, just remember that we're going to skip it, so that saves, again, quite a bit of time. That saves us from having to go to 2 different rooms on the other side of the mansion, and go manipulate through those rooms. So what we do is we put the idol here, which is actually fairly difficult. It's right beside that thing. You can barely sometimes hit it. But either way, you put the idle down, and the floor opens up, so we go down the stairs. So we run to the right, we see Mary walking past the dog. Now normally you disguise yourself with a perfume, but we can't do that. So something's there, she stops, you run over here, she stops again, you run one more time, and then you can see, I can select this empty box right here. Now what I'm going to do is run towards the dog, and then when her knee is right before the dog's nose, we're going to select the text box, and that will allow us to skip him. I'm actually going to save here just in case, but it should be pretty easy. Just like that, not a problem. So there we go, that's the dog skip. She used the text box, interrupts it, and we're good to go. Now we have to go see Lot, and it's really pretty easy. You just open, in order to do the text skip, open up the item and move left and right. That'll skip all the text. Then you just stop when she's done, and you run left. Not even a problem. So that's one of the easiest skips in the game. Pretty much, like I said, just hold the item button and keep fluctuating back and forth until she moves, and then quit, and then she's just done talking to Lot. Lot's dead. The trigger has been set, so we don't have to worry about Lot anymore. And now we just finished the game. So we go over here to Dan, and everything plays like normally from here on. And time will end as soon as the Mary's portrait background stops fluctuating. That is when time is over. So yeah, pretty much just mashing X for the rest of the game, and a little bit of movement. And this is a misconception I had, even though I am in the yellow or orange or whatever color that is. I was under the impression that you had to have your health a bit higher in order to do this, but apparently not. You can actually be in the red and still make it through here without any trouble, so that's good. Through the S rank run, there's actually absolutely no need to ever rest and get your health back or get your energy back. But even then, I'm in the orange or yellow, so that wouldn't have been a concern either way. But that's because I rested a little bit in my explanations, so not a problem there. But in a general run, you'd keep moving so you wouldn't have time to stop and rest. So she always takes a while, like, there's nothing I can do about that. She'll take a while to, no, never mind. So there is a bit of a lag after Dan dies before you can go through that door. Because she stops on her own and then goes through the door. So you just have to wait. Just keep mashing your select button. At this point, remember, don't forget you have one more thing to select after you go in the elevator, and that is selecting the 3rd floor. There we go. And that's it. No more selecting. All you have to do is mash X for the rest, or mash the action button for the rest of the game. X on my controller. And you're good to go. Bobby will follow you here, and you'll have the S rank ending. And that little bit of lag there was because I was mashing X, so I would suggest if you're on the Super Famicom, not mashing X until you absolutely have to. The reason we had to talk to Lot was because she tells us about the clock tower and hitting the switches, and you have to do that in order to not die here. So we can see Laura is alive. We have one more person to deal with. And that's the end of the game. Time was right when that fluctuated. Back to Jennifer's picture. The crows have saved us and we're good to go. So that's Clock Tower S rank. I'm actually pretty upset that I got the best RNG possible in this explanation. That would have actually been a pretty good run. But whatever, at least it made it helpful for the demonstration. So that's the game. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully this is informative. The only other explanation video that I could find was from the runner, if I could find his name. Was it Soccer Freak? Anyway, the only other explanation I saw was not in English. Yeah, that was Soccer Freak. So, I figured this would be kind of helpful for anybody who doesn't speak another language or who only speaks English or who speaks English to have a bit of an explanation behind it. But any of the guides you need will be found on speedrun.com. There's actually some very phenomenal guides written there by Play and Soccer Freak, and they're the ones who I've got the information from in order to start running this. So give them a follow if you want on Twitch, and of course me if you would like on Crazy Berserker. I stream. Streaming this now around 4 o'clock Eastern time. Hopefully every day, but that may be subject to change. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to let the ending play out, and I'll show you that I did indeed get S rank. But obviously you can see that because the only time you get S rank is when you have 2 people who survived. But either way, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll start getting some good streams in and start actually getting my name on the board. But at the very least, this is Clock Tower S rank.